The afternoon sun spilled across the courtyard like warm honey, stretching out in long amber rays that settled on clay pots and the cracked cement ground. From my kitchen window, I could see my neighbor's balcony, green plants draped over the railing, fairy lights still hanging there from months ago. The whole street had that familiar calm of late afternoon, when the wind softened, children went quiet, and the world seemed to hold its breath. That I stood in the narrow hallway of my house, staring down at the velvet box sitting in my palm. The deep maroon color of the box felt heavier than it should have, as if the tiny ring inside carried the weight of something bigger than gold or diamonds. My fingers twitched nervously. Even after all the late-night decisions, all the prayers, all the imagining of how things would change, I still wasn't used to the idea that the ring inside belonged to me, or rather, was meant for someone else. But passing through my hands for this one moment, it wasn't my ring, not yet, not officially, but it was supposed to be hers, and I was supposed to keep it safe. That simple task, keep it safe, suddenly felt like a mountain balancing on my thumb. I didn't even hear her footsteps until she was right outside my front gate. My neighbor, Amara, always walked with the kind of confidence that made people turn their heads. Even in a simple lawn suit, she looked as if sunlight liked following her. She leaned on the metal gate with an easy smile, her eyes sparkling with curiosity the moment she noticed what I was holding. "Oh," she said, lifting her brows. "Toya Hiwo famous box? The one you've been walking around with like it's a nuclear weapon?" I didn't answer immediately. I was still adjusting to the idea that anyone else should even look at it. The moment I stepped outside, the breeze tugged playfully at my shirt, and she stepped closer, her attention already glued to the velvet box. "Chelo," she said and extended her hand. "Let me see the ring, it might even fit me." Her voice was light, teasing, almost musical. She didn't mean anything by it, not really. That was just how she spoke, dramatic, curious, and always 2 steps ahead of her own words. But something about her request made my grip tighten on the box. "Relax," she added, waving her fingers. "I just want to see it. I'm not running away with it." I sighed softly. There was no real reason to say no. She was trustworthy. She was almost like a sister. And besides, it wasn't like the ring belonged to me personally, it belonged to the moment, to the intention behind it, to the person it was meant for. Still, hesitation buzzed in my chest like a trapped insect, but she waited, her hand still extended, eyes sparkling with mischief. So I opened the box. The ring caught sunlight instantly, scattering tiny glints of silver and gold like it knew how to call attention to itself. It was simple, elegant, unpretentious, just like the girl it belonged to. A thin gold band with one small diamond that seemed to glow rather than shine. It looked like something chosen by someone who preferred truth over show-off, meaning over price tags. Amara gasped, "Ooh. It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice suddenly softer. "I didn't expect it to be this perfect." I swallowed. "Yeah. It really is." She reached out again, slower this time, gentler. "May I?" I hesitated only for a breath, then nodded. "Hold it for me, okay?" Her eyes flicked up to mine, searching my face for more than the words I used. There was something she understood, something unspoken, maybe how protective I felt, maybe how nervous. Her expression softened. "Of course," she said quietly. "You can trust me." I handed it over. The ring looked impossibly small resting on her fingers. She held it delicately, as if touching something sacred. She turned her hand, letting the diamond catch different angles of light, watching it reflect tiny galaxies. "You chose well," she said. "It actually feels right." I let out a long exhale, tension I didn't even know I had easing from my shoulders. "I hope she thinks the same." "She will," Amara said, smiling. "She's not the type to care about size or price. She'll see the thought behind it." "I know," I replied. "Still, it's a big step." "It's the step," she corrected. "A new chapter." Her words carried a weight that made me shift slightly. She wasn't wrong. I had spent months thinking about this decision, wondering if it was the right time, if I was truly ready, if we were truly ready. Responsibility was something I had always carried like armor, heavy, reliable, always in use. But commitment was different. It required vulnerability, trust, hope, things I wasn't used to handing out freely. "Can I try it on?" she asked suddenly. I blinked. "You? Why?" Curiosity, she said simply. Just to see how it looks on a hand. You know, visualization. I shook my head and laughed. You're unbelievable. I get that a lot, she replied proudly. She slipped the ring onto her finger, and for a moment, for just one unexpected second, I felt my heart drop into my stomach, because it fit her perfectly and not because she was meant for it, not because there was anything symbolic about her wearing it, but because fate had a funny way of messing with people's nerves. Seeing the ring, the one I had imagined on someone else's hand, glittering on hers was unsettling in a way I didn't expect. She lifted her hand, admiring it with a grin. Wow. I'm not saying I want one, but damn. It does look good. I groaned. Please don't say that. Why? She laughed. Scared I'll steal it? Scared I'll panic, I muttered. She slid it off immediately, sensing the shift in my voice. When she held it out to me again, her tone changed. You're really serious about this, huh? I nodded slowly. Yeah. I am. And does she know? That I'm going to propose? I shook my head. No. She has no idea. Amara smiled in a way only someone who has watched another person grow, struggle, endure, and rebuild can smile. Then she's in for one hell of a moment. Before I could reply, the sound of distant laughter drifted from the street, kids playing cricket, the thump of a ball hitting the ground, someone shouting for a catch. A motorbike sped by, its engine sputtering. The world remained normal, ordinary, predictable, while inside me, everything felt like it was shifting into something unfamiliar. She handed the ring back. The moment it touched my palm again, something inside me steadied, anchored. It felt right, not perfect, not magical, not cinematic, just right. I closed the box. You'll do great, she said. Don't overthink it. I almost laughed. Overthinking was practically my superpower. I'll try. You better. Because if you mess this up, I'm telling her. I stared at her. Tell her what? That you rehearsed your proposal in front of my mirror last week. My jaw dropped. You said you wouldn't tell anyone. She burst out laughing. Relax. I won't. But the fact that you practiced makes this even sweeter. I rubbed a hand over my face. Unbelievable. Adorable, she corrected. You're adorable when you panic. Before I could protest, she straightened, brushing imaginary dust from her sleeves. Okay. Enough teasing. When are you doing it? Tonight? I shook my head. No. I want it to be right. A proper moment. Fair enough, she said. Just make sure your heart is steady before you speak. Women can hear fear. That's not comforting. It wasn't meant to be. We both laughed softly. She turned to leave, stepping backward, still smiling. And remember, if you need anything, advice, moral support, emergency chocolate, my door is open. Thanks, I said. For, you know. Holding it for me. She winked. Any time. I watched her walk back to her house, her dupatta fluttering behind her. The courtyard seemed brighter somehow, as if the sunlight had shifted its angle just for this moment. I closed the gate and leaned against it for a long second. The ring was safe, the moment was approaching, and somehow, even though my heartbeat was still uneven, my chest felt lighter. For the first time today, I let myself smile, because maybe, just maybe, I was ready, and maybe, just maybe, the world was about to change in the best way possible. If you want part 2, just tell me the word count and style you want.